Welcome to tonight's video on Arithmetic Sequences, Chapter 10, Part 2. A definition of an arithmetic sequence is a sequence in which basically there's a common difference from the preceding term, or you could look at another way, you're adding or subtracting a certain amount to go from one term to the next. For example, like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, so on. That is a arithmetic sequence because you're adding 2 to go from one term to the next. Or you could look at it as 5, 2, -1, -4, so on. Because look at it here, you're subtracting 3 to go from one term to the next. The common difference is defined as the second term minus the first term. So in the first sequence that we talked about here, the common difference is 2 because 3 minus 1 is 2. Here the common difference is -3 because you subtract 3 to go from one term to the next. So here we're just going to write the first 6 terms of the arithmetic sequence, and it tells us the first term is 100, and this is a recursive formula which basically tells us we take the previous term and subtract 30. That's what a sub n minus 1 means. That means previous term. So if I'm finding the second term, I'm going to take the first term minus 30. So I'm going to take 100 minus 30, which is 70. And then the third term would be 70 minus 30, which is 40. And then the fourth term would be 40 minus 30, which is 10. The fifth term, which would be 10 minus 30, which is -20. And then the sixth term is -20 minus 30, which is -50. So the first 6 terms are 100, 70, 40, 10, -20, -50. Those are the 6 terms. To find the general term of an arithmetic sequence, there's a formula. You take the nth term is equal to the first term plus the number of terms minus 1 times the difference. So a sub 1 is the first term. N equals the number of term. And D is the common difference. So, if it says the 9th term of an arithmetic sequence you're trying to find, the first term is 6, and whose common difference is -5, you could list out the first 9 terms, and then you find it, but let's say you're trying to find the 200th term, that would take a long time. So what you're first going to do is find a formula for the nth term. So here we know the first term is 6. The difference is -5. So we go 6 plus n minus 1 times -5. So 6 minus 5n plus 5 when I distribute. So it gives you -5n plus 11. That is the formula. Second, we're going to find the specific term. So here we're finding the 9th term. So that means n is equal to 9. So we're going to go -5 times 9 plus 11. which is negative 45 plus 11, which is negative 34. So that is the ninth term. All right, we can use this formula to solve some word problems. Thanks to drive-thrus and curbside delivery, Americans are eating more meals behind the wheel. In 2004, we averaged 32 a la carte meals, increasing by approximately 0.7 meals per year. Write a formula for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence that models the number of carte meals n years after 2003. So if we think about it, our first term is 32 meals. The difference, it increases 0.7 per year. So, and it's n years after 2003. So a sub n is equal to 32 plus n minus 1 times 0.7. So when you distribute, you get 0.7n minus 0.7. So it's going to be 0.7n. And then 32 minus 0.7 is 31.3. And that is your formula. In 2018, so that means n is equal to 15. So a sub 15 is equal to 0.7 times 15 plus 31.3. Okay, so 0.7 times 15 is 10.5 plus 31.3. So that means you have 41.8 meals that they average in their car by the year 2018. Finding the sum of an arithmetic sequence. So, finding the sum of an arithmetic sequence, you can add them all up, or there is a formula for the sum of the arithmetic sequence where n is the number of terms. A sub 1 is the first term. A sub n is going to be the last term. So basically you're going to take the number of terms and divide it by 2 and then multiply that by the sum of the first and last term. So we're going to find the sum of the first 15 terms of the arithmetic sequence. So we're given the first 4. We're given the first term is 3. We're given that there are 15 terms in the sequence. The only thing we don't know is what the 15th term is. Now we can keep adding 3 until we get to the 15th term to figure it out, but remember we have a formula. And that formula is there to find any term of the arithmetic sequence. So to find the 15th term, we're going to take the first one, which is 3, plus 15 minus 1, times the difference, which in this case is 3. So 3 plus 14 times 3. So 3 plus 42 is 45. So the 15th term is 45. So now we can find the sum by taking 15 divided by 2 times the first plus the last. So 15 halves times 48. Well, 2 goes into 48, 24. And 24 times 15 is 360. So that's the sum of the first 15 terms. You can also do the sum with summation notation. Here, we know there are 30 terms. The first term we can find by going 6 times 1 minus 11. So that's 6 minus 11, which is negative 5. The 30th term we can find by putting 30 in. So 180 minus 11 is 169. So the sum of the first 30 terms is 30 divided by 2 times negative 5 plus 169. So 15 times 164, and that gives you 2,460. So that's the sum of the first 15 terms. All right, I hope this helps with the arithmetic sequences. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in class. Sorry for any car noise that goes by. I'm outside doing this because it's nice and quiet. But anyway, have a good day of school, and I will see you next class.